Hello and welcome to West Country Wanderings. Welcome to one of my Devon series. I'm here in a very blustery Kingsbridge in the South Hams. Yes, we have a station here. I bet you thought Kingsbridge station had closed. Yes, it's a very light railway which runs alongside the embankment here in Kingsbridge. What we're going to do is have a tour around the town here today, tell you a little bit about the town's history, because if you've seen the other video from South Milton, you'll know that I lived close to here one time. South Milton is about 2.5 miles away. Kingsbridge is about 17 miles from the city of Plymouth and 17 miles from the town of Torquay. Torquay that way, Plymouth that way. So we're further south in the South Hams here. Hams actually is short for hamlets, but there isn't in Devon a North Hams, but it is thought to mean North Devon, northern part, but it's North Devon isn't called North Hams for some reason, but yeah, the southern hamlets, that's where it comes from. Now Kingsbridge is an interesting town because it's actually two towns. I'm not sure that many people know that, but it's actually made up of two completely separate, well you do if you're local, two completely different towns. So Kingsbridge on this side, and on that side is what is known as Dodbrooke. The town didn't start at either Kingsbridge or Dodbrooke. It started in this direction, and it all started with a bridge in the 10th century. So there was a bridge over the creek here. You can actually get ferry trips down to Salcombe from here in the summer. So we'll head down in that general direction. I'll tell you some more about the town. I love this replica here of the Mayflower 1620. The Mayflower, of course, sailed across to the new lands, the new world in America. Yes, this was actually designed by the Kingsbridge in Bloom team back in 2007. Wonderful. And there's another one here, which is a brigantine or brigantine schooner from 1864, which is also designed in 2007. Now what you can see behind me is of course tidal. In the 19th century, large ships would ply their trade up here. There was also manufacturing in Kingsbridge as well. There were a number of mills which traded in fabrics, in textiles, and the raw materials would come in up here to Kingsbridge Quay, go to the various mills. There's one at Dodbrooke, I do believe, and the finished goods would have been taken back out again. Now this isn't actually an estuary in the normal sense, it's known as a ria. It's a Salcombe ria. It was formed during the Ice Age, but it is beautiful. It's absolutely fantastic for wildlife, nature, but it's really difficult for me to show you and convey that to you today. You can follow it all the way into Salcombe, and if you're ever in the area and they're running the trips, the Salcombe ferry, it's a nice day. I highly recommend a trip on that down to the beautiful town of Salcombe, which can often get congested with traffic. So we're now in Kingsbridge's recreation grounds with lovely floral displays here. Obviously, it's not as bright, as vibrant as it would be because we're here in mid-October, but you are getting a sense of the autumnal colours in the trees that are above me. There's a couple of beech trees around there. And the borders are lovely laid out here, and there's a bowling green and also tennis courts over the other side. Now rather than going in what I could term the usual way into Kingsbridge, following the road and up the hill into 4th Street where all the streets are, we'll go in this way. We can follow it around where the tennis courts are, and we'll start with Dodbrooke first and then make our way then into the town centre. Now in terms of facilities, Kingsbridge is very well provided for. It has a cinema, a number of cafes and restaurants in the town, quite a good number of independent shops still, and it also has a hospital, South Hams Hospital, which I happen to go to on a few occasions. It's a very, very good hospital. The next nearest hospitals are obviously in aforementioned Plymouth and Torbay. They have big hospitals, but the one here in South Hams, which effectively covers the whole of the South Hams, very good hospital indeed, if should you ever need it. So Kingsbridge is well catered for. It has a bus station as well. Well, it's not undercover, as we imagine, but there is an area there for the buses with I noticed they got a new matrix display there, so there's services to Dartmouth and to Plymouth as well as to Salcombe as well from the town. We now come round to Dodbrooke, and that's Dodbrooke Lodge on the left there. We're at the junction of Derby Road and Ebrington Street where it crosses over Rack Park Road. Let's have a wander around. So here in Dodbrook we have one of the mills there. You can make it out with the blue on it, which is now being converted into apartments. And it's possible that building actually dates back prior to the 19th century into the late 18th. It's got a noticeable bow on the wall. Just noticed it's called Malt Mill. I believe it was used for storing malt and grains. I love the name of the pub there, the King of Prussia. There's definitely a story behind that one. Next to that is Kingsbridge's Antique Centre. Delightful seat there by the side of the road. That's lovely. Yes, I love the colours of the cottages here. You can definitely tell this is the older part of the town. I've always liked how those cottages are set back with an additional step-up level to the pavement. Oh, and there's a tally-ho bus going past. Number 160. This here used to be a British school. So here in Dodbrook we have yet another park. Dodbrook's own park. Complete with a football pitch over there and an outdoor gym. But we're going to head up left, where it's a no entry sign, but not if you're on foot, towards the church at Dodbrook. So we're still in Church Street here, climbing up to the church. Now coming up here on the right we have the Dodbrook Inn, which is a free house. Not many of those still exist these days, but one certainly does here. So the church here at Dodbrook is St Thomas of Canterbury. Couldn't get more ancient church name than that one. Lovely steps going up to it as well. Right next to the churchyard and the church here at Dodbrook is the parish hall. While enjoying my walk here at Dodbrook in Kingsbridge, I don't think I've actually been into Dodbrook Church, and it says it's 700 years old, so that brings it round to, what's that, 1400 and something. I'll put some more facts and figures about the church now if you're interested, put them rolling across the screen. But I will be doing now is continuing our video now to the other part of Kingsbridge, which is called Kingsbridge. Yeah, so we're going to make our way over to Kingsbridge, which has its own church. And as I say, the two settlements grew separate from the initial one by the bridge there in the 10th century, and then they came together to become one parish, although they both have unique and quite separate identities. Kingsbridge is now becoming more urban. This is where the supermarkets are and all the town's main facilities as well, so it's busier and, as you probably would expect it to be, a bit noisier as well. But Dodbrook is really quite a delightful part of Kingsbridge. Sorry for the splodges on the lens, it's coming down quite heavy again now, but this is Richmond Terrace, and this is one of the things I love about Kingsbridge. You've got all these little alleyways and little nooks and crannies to explore, so there's more to it than first meets the eye. If you just walk up and down the high street, you'll miss so much, so if you do come here, just branch off down the sides and you'll be delighted with what you see, I think. Sorry if it's slightly grainy because I'm under some trees at the moment. This is a delightful corner here. This is where Duncombe Street, which is where I've been walking up from Dodbrook, meets the top of Forest Street. But you have these delightful floral displays here which still look nice even though it's mid-October on a bit of a grey miserable day here in Kingsbridge. But yeah, so we're going to have a look at Kingsbridge now. And in front of me is the Methodist Church. Looks like it's been recently painted and it dates from 1814. And that's just over there. And there's the aforementioned Methodist Church here. Next to the Methodist, or almost next to the Methodist Church, is Kingsbridge's museum called the Cookworthy Museum, named after one Mr. Cookworthy, I think it was James. He was born here, and the Cornish people, particularly in mid-Cornwall, have a lot to thank for Cookworthy because he in fact invented the kaolin extraction process, which obviously was where you have all that in St Austell with the china clay pit. Unfortunately, I won't have time to go in the museum today. It's only £4 to go in, but it has interesting things like the evacuation of the South Hams, which I covered in my Slapton series of videos, and the shipwrecks around the South Hams coast as well. The museum's housed in Kingsbridge's former Kingsbridge Grammar School, which I think closed in the 1960s. And tucked away above the museum is Kingsbridge's community garden, which is just down here on the left. I want to show you something else. Yes, can you see it? No, it's not Kingsbridge's police station. It's what's next to it. Yes, so next to the police station here in Kingsbridge, you have Kingsbridge's nightclub. Probably the smallest nightclub in the United Kingdom, if not the world. That's it. I don't know if it plays music if it opens the door. Let's see what happens. Yes, it says it's the world's smallest nightclub. Club rules, no alcohol. Only 2 disco goers maximum at any time. Please respect residents living locally. And to get to it, you use the phone box. You lift it up, put a coin inside, and there's your music for the night. Underneath the glittered wall and the flashing lights. The £1 actually goes to the Kingsbridge Food Bank.
Please insert £1 to play a role in the song selection. Thank you. Please wait.
Also here is Knowle House, which is where the naturalist George Montague, isn't there a Montague seagull or swan? Something like that. I'll put that in below to confirm that. But anyway, the naturalist was born and lived here at Knowle House here in Kingsbridge. So we're now looking across to King's Cinema here in Kingsbridge, which is also the town hall. It's something called the Kingsbridge Fee Office, and they look after a number of social housing projects in the town. They have done for many, many years, but I think they're raising funds to restore the clock at the top of it. As you can see, it's 3:05. But the church here at Kingsbridge is just alongside the cinema there, steps there on the left. Come round to church steps, and this is Kingsbridge's church, and I'll put in the date that it was built in the usual way below. It's church steps along there, which takes you back to 4th Street here in Kingsbridge. Well, I think with Kingsbridge's church here in the centre of the town is a fitting place to end today's little wander through the town of Kingsbridge and its near neighbour Dodbrook here in the South Hams in South Devon, one of my Devon series. Hope you enjoyed the tour of the town today. I must admit I enjoyed wandering it again because living nearby in South Milton for a few years, I came to get to know the town really well, but there were still bits of it which I wasn't familiar with, darting down some of the little alleyways and looking more closely at the buildings. There's always something new to discover, isn't there? Hope you enjoyed it today. There'll be another video landing on West Country Wanderings again very soon. All the best for now. Take care. Cheers now. Goodbye.